Hey, it's Richard again. Welcome back to Coffee Time with Beginning Guitarist. Actually, we're going to probably change the title to something like Talking with a Beginning Guitarist or Beginning Guitarist. Let's talk, something like that. It's my vlog. We'll do what I want with it. The name doesn't really matter. It's what I do with it that matters. Today we're going to be talking about equipment. The equipment that I've gotten, things that I've liked, things that I don't like, things that I would suggest to others if they really are interested. The first thing that we're going to be talking about is, of course, I went over my guitars, and the guitar that I have is this Squier, the Squier Strat. Love my Squier Strat. It's got single pickups on it. It's really nice. It's got a 5-toggle switch, volume, tone for the different areas. I'm not going to go into great detail on how to do all that. That's beyond what this video is going to do, but this is the guitar that I got as my electric. You've seen my acoustic. One of the things that you might have noticed on each of my guitars, though, is this little thing on the headstock. This little wonderful thing helps me tune the guitar. Put it on here, turn it on, choose a string, do up the string, see if we can see this at all, and it tells me if I'm in tune or not. My E is not in tune, so I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Now it is. Do that with each of the strings. Tells you if you're in tune. Like that D right there, you can see is not, you can't quite get up to the, so we're going to turn it up just a little bitty bit till we get a solid blue bar. And I do that with every single string, and I can get in there and I can get them all in tune. This way I'm not doing it the old-fashioned way by trying to listen. I can't do it. All right, my ears are not that good, but this will help me out. It's really quick, and if you're in the middle of playing and there's a lot of noises around, this goes by vibration, not by the actual sound. So if you can be in a room where it's really, really loud, and you can just, and you'll be able to get your guitar in tune. I have two of them. One's on this one. One's on my acoustic. Oh, and then I grabbed a pick, which is also part of the part of your equipment. This is a basic Fender medium pick that came with the guitar. But what I've learned is that these do a nice job, but there are all kinds of picks that are out there on the market. And two of them that I've gotten are by Cool. And these Cool ones, here's a Cool, this one says Cool on it, and they're both mediums. The top part of this one is like a fine grit sandpaper, and this one here has like a rubber feeling to it. So as you're playing, you can control and hold on to your pick a little bit better than what you can with just a solid plastic one. Because solid plastic one, after a little while, your hand gets a little bit oily, a little sweaty. It turns in your hand. These ones, it's a little bit harder for them to do so. So these picks, you can always get all types of picks that are out there. Go to your local shop. They'll probably have a display of different ones out there. Grab onto them, feel them, see how they feel in your hand. Try out a few. They're not that expensive. And once you know what you like, you can go back and get some more. It's quite easy to do. Another thing that's on this guitar that's a little bit different than what came with it is that it came with a basic strap. The basic strap was all black. It said Fender on it, and it would go over top of the areas where it holds onto. But I wanted something that was a little more me, a little bit more fun. So I got these from a local store. And what's really nice about these is these will lock into place. Whereas the other ones were kind of strapped on and you fit them over the whole they could come off. The strap could come off of that if you are jumping around a little bit or moving around a little bit. You don't really realize it gets caught in something. But these will lock into place. You pull a little thing and it closes the hole around the holder. Put them on. Locks it right into place. Keeps it on there. And it's a little bit more fun. It's a little bit more me. And they have all different styles of these that are out there. I just picked this one, like I said, because I think it looks more like me. And what I'm holding it on, the guitar on, is this stand. I really suggest getting a stand. It sits right on top of there and holds it right in place for you. You can put it anywhere. And the reason why I like the stand is it's not leaning up against something where somebody could just knock it over. If it's up against like a table, somebody knocks it, it's going to fall, or a chair, or you put it next to the couch and somebody sits on the couch and knocks it over. Helps really hold it in place for you. And it keeps it out there because you're going to be inspired to play if you can actually see it. If you don't see your guitar, a lot of times it's in the back of your mind, but if this is out in the open where you can see it, you are going to be wanting to play it. It's going to inspire you to play. So get a nice stand. I have one for both of my guitars. Now, in the kit that I got this in, because it came in a kit, came with this little speaker right here. The speaker's tone isn't the greatest. It's good for if you're just starting out and you're learning to get your chords down. But if you want to get a certain sound out of it, it's not going to work. It's not going to be strong enough to gig with. It's not going to be, you're not going to be able to get that tone, that sound that you want to do. If you really, want to play heavy rock, it's not going to give you the tone that you want to do. It can give you a little bit of it, but not all the way. So so you're going to have to find something else further down the line. They have all different types of amps that are out there. Modeling amps are what some of them are called, where the amplifier has presets in them, electronic presets in them. So if you have a certain sound, you go to that button, that little sensor on there, and tap it down. Okay, this is the sound that I want on there. Hit go, and it presets the amplifier, all of its settings, to that sound. This one won't do that. You gotta mess with it, and like I said, because of the size of the speaker and the quality of this, you're just not going to get a great sound out of it. I mean, you will, like I said, you can get it so it will sound where you can get your chords down good. But as far as being loud and as far as getting that full tone, now I have the overdrive on a little bit here, so I'm trying to make it sound a little bit like rock. So I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to have to turn it up now because the overdrive forces the amplifier to be louder than what it should be, and that's that overdrive sound, that sound like it's about ready to break that amp, where that speaker is going to be blown. But it's a nice sound for if you're just learning your chords. Yeah, I can't even play right now, I'm so nervous. That's why I am a beginner. So I could have a $3,000 speaker right now, right here, and it ain't gonna sound any better because I can't play any better. So for a beginner, this might be just fine. But But what I have found is, because I play a lot at night, because I work nights, so when I have nights off and I'm getting ready to work the following night, it could be like 2 o'clock in the morning. Right now it's about 1 o'clock here. People are upstairs trying to get some sleep. So instead, what I have found to work for me is this wonderful little device here. It's called a Vox mini amp or headphone amp, whatever you want. This is the AC10. They make a lot of different versions of these, and it plugs in just like what you would if you're plugging into a regular amplifier. Turn it on, and you actually can play it and put it on headphones. Plug this just right into your headphones, and you can play, and you're the only one that's going to hear it. And you can make it so it sounds totally different than what that thing does. I can add more to it than that. There's a couple little effects that are on this that I could do to help me out. Now, what I really like it for is when I have it hooked up to my headphones, is I can plug in my computer to it too. So that if I'm doing an online class, like I like to do, I can hear the class, I can see the class, and I can play with what's going on with the class, and nobody around me can hear it. I have been in the room where my wife and son have been playing video games, and I'm on the far side. I have my little computer over there, which then I have the class all set up. And you can't see them, of course, but that's Justin guitar right there. And the thing about it is then I could be in the same room as them. I'm not bothering them with my playing and doing my lesson. They're not bothering me because I have the headphones on. I can't hear them. And we can be in the same room and we can do stuff together. So if you're in a house where there's not a lot of room, or if you're in an apartment, it makes great for those situations. So you're not being loud, you're not bothering other people. You can play, you can practice, you can do anything that you want with it, and you're not going to bother anybody else during that time. It's a great little thing, it really is. You just have to hook up to, there's another hookup back here to it where you can hook up a secondary cord into here. It all comes out here and into your headphones. I've used the earbuds into there too, so I can go anywhere. And the nice thing is when you're doing this and you're not hooked up to the computer and you're just wanting to play, this goes on battery. So you can play anywhere. You can go anywhere and do it. You know, somebody says, hey, I want this room. You can go, all right, whatever. And you can go into the kitchen. You don't have to grab your amplifier, pick it up, take it into another room, find a plug it in, do it, and have them yell at you because you're being too loud. You can just stand up, walk into another room, and play all you want. You can walk around playing. You know, you can practice doing that. You don't have a cord to tell you where you cannot go because you were playing it on that. Now, I have also taken it and I have put it onto a little speaker like this one. And the tone on this little speaker here, the quality is actually better than the amplifier. And I can do it through this, and I can add those effects to it. Normally what I'd have to do is I'd have to get pedal effects for it. But I don't have to have all that. So if I do want to play it out loud, I can with that. And then we'll play with my lessons online also. But this is a great little tool for if you are in a very enclosed area, you need to be quiet like I do a lot with playing at night. where you're not going to be bothering anybody. Again, this is the AC30. I guess the Vox AC30 was a very good amplifier back in the 60s, 70s, where a lot of the sound from over in the UK came from, and like the Beatles and so forth. So it's that kind of sound that's on there. But they have, the Vox has other ones too. One's a clean sound, one's for lead. There's some other ones that you can get, and they all have different types of effects. So take a good look online, see what you want. Go into your local shop, have them show them to you so you can see what it is and what the different effects are. You don't need to have a real expensive headphone set. That's not really expensive. I mean, like I said, I even use earbuds with it, and it does just fine. And I can hear what I'm playing, and I can hear what I want to hear, and I can hook it up to the computer there, or even, you know, a tablet works good also. As long as you can get the sound out, you can get it, you can make it play on this little thing. It's a great little thing. See, so when I got this, like I said, it was a gift from my family, and I got the kit that came with it, the beginner set, the bullet here, the strap. It also came with a case, a soft case, you know, it says Fender on it and everything. For getting it from point A to point B, it's great. I wouldn't use it for if I was going on a gig or anything like that. There's not enough protection for it, for the guitar, but it does help me get it from place to place. You can see, got a little tag on here from when I took it in to get the strings redone the one time. So that's another piece of equipment. I'm going to get a better one later on, but right now I'm not gigging. I'm not going to gig for years. I might not ever gig. This is for me, okay? Also, right now with the COVID, there's really not a lot of gigs going on. Michigan's shut down right now. We can't really go anywhere. The restaurants are all closed. The bars are all closed. There's no gigs going on. So really having a different case really isn't going to help me out. But I got, this all came in a kit, along with the strap and a couple of and a cord. Now this is not the same cord. I used a cord that came with the whole system, and it bent on the first day. So I went out and got this one from PV. It's a PV series by PV. It's been working great. It's a little sturdier. It's a little bit longer than the regular cord that I had before, and it sounds fine for, especially with that little amplifier. So that all came in a kit. Would I get the kit again? No, probably not. I would probably have had my wife spend a little bit more money on the guitar itself, because this is, like I said, this is the Bullet. It's Squire's lowest end series. Now they have Bullet in different models. Telecaster and Mustang is another one. But I probably would have asked her to probably get one that has a little bit better pickups and a little bit, maybe a better neck, though this has turned out really nice. For somebody who's never played before, I really don't know any different. But maybe it might be one that I can grow a little bit more with. I don't know. Like the Affinity series would be one that I could possibly have gone up and a little bit more price rather than getting it all together. Because personally, I would get the Vox before I would get an amplifier. That amplifier, at least. This sounds so much better. And going out to a speaker that I already have from before doesn't sound much different. So really, between these two things here, it might be just about the same amount of money as what the whole kit did, but I would have a guitar with a little bit better pickups in it than what I have, a little bit better work in the frets. I don't know if the tuners are any different, but that's one of the things I am going to do is I want to get different tuners. I want to get locking tuners for this, you know, so I don't go out of tune as often, especially if I'm, like, sometimes I can only practice like 3 or 4 nights a week because I'm at work otherwise. I just, not too long ago, just did a stretch where 8 out of 9 nights, I did 12-hour shifts at the hospital. Get home from that, I'm exhausted after working with all those patients on the vent with COVID. So I really don't have the energy to practice. So on these last few nights that I've had off, an hour, 2 hours, I know that that's not the most ideal way to do it. You should be practicing at least 15, 20 minutes a day, just because, you know, it locks you in a little bit better up in the mind because you're going over it and over it and over it instead of trying to jam it all together. You memorize it a little bit better, your skill level gets better, your muscle memory is a little bit better by doing it just those 15, 20 minutes a day rather than jamming it in like I am. But that's my situation, and that's what I'm making the most of. So I would rather have this with the headphones and this than the whole kit again. I'm sorry, but that thing really doesn't help me out now. Not at all. Not at all. Oh, one other thing that I did get, and a friend of mine gave it to me, is a music stand, because I try to write down in a logbook like things that are suggested to practice from justinguitar.com. I put in there, you know, some of the songs that it tells me to play when, you know, when to play what, and I can follow along with it without having to play it on my computer, so I can get it down a little bit better. So when I do go to play it again with the class or with the song, I'm a little bit better at it. And also I have charts, chord charts that I've made myself. I printed them out and I put on there what you know, like what a D is, what a G is, what a C is, and so forth, and the barcodes and so on. And I can put it up on this, and I can read it a lot better than something that's laying flat, and I'm having to do this, or on a table having to look over. I can sit up straighter and watch my back a little bit better while playing. So that really can help out too. They're not very expensive, and it really does help with my back, because pulling up patients and changing position on the patients every 2 hours really cranks on your back, you know. And after 29 years of, or actually, let's see, 29 years of a nurse, but 35 years doing patient care, it takes a toll on your back. So this helps me sit up straighter, helps me get in a better position for what I need to do. And if I am standing up, I have everything on, I can raise this up, and again, standing straight up, not trying to look over it at whatever it is that I have it laid down on like a table. Cheap, easy, satisfying for your back. So just try to keep it that way. Trying to think of what other little pieces of equipment that I would suggest. Couple of like books to write down stuff in, loose leaf paper to write notes in, write down what your chords are, even printing off chord sheets so that you can see what the chord sheets are like. Oh, and a microfiber towel. You know, you don't have to have expensive stuff, so you can wipe down your guitar afterwards, get some of the oils and grease that were on your hands off of your strings for you, so that they last a little bit longer. Wipe down the body a little bit longer, get some of those marks off of, not fingernails, but fingerprints off of there. So when it's sitting in the corner, it shines real nice, so it entices you to come over. Take care of your stuff. Even though this is not expensive in the way of guitars, or guitars are way higher price than mine, it's still mine, and I want to take care of it. And I'm going to by making sure that I wipe it down, taking it in to get the strings changed every once in a while, having them do a little bit of maintenance on it. I think the next thing I'm going to have them do is actually putting in a bone nut up in here. The bone nut makes it so that the string can go through it a lot easier when you're trying to tune it. It doesn't grab onto the string as much, and make sure that the lines in here, or the grooves that are there, are big enough for the strings, because that's what can bind them sometimes, is when you're trying to do your tune, and then all of a sudden you get to a point and it pulls it through real hard because it's not the right size, it's not grooved correctly, or it's not smooth, it's not, it's grabbing onto it. So by putting in a bone nut there and making sure that those are, when you go to tune, it'll make it a lot easier so that your tuning machines don't seem like they're jumping so much. And I will tell you this, I found this out not too long ago, that if you have like a Les Paul, because these come straight through the nut and up, the Les Paul, because it's got a 3-and-3, they come out and they kind of angle like this. So if you have a nut that's straight and then goes over, it's going to bind on you and it's not going to stay in tune. So switching over to a better nut at that point in time, so it goes through and it's angling better through the nut for you, so it's not catching, then you're going to stay in tune a lot better, and it's going to be easier to be in tune. Just something that I found out the other day by one of the videos that I was watching. I hope that this has helped out somebody. Like I said, those boxes are great if you're in a small area and you're not wanting to bother anybody, or if you're up late at night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to wake up anybody upstairs. Be in the same room with people. I know that seems silly, but as a dad, I don't mind sitting there, and I'll be doing my thing, and I'll be able to look over and see the family doing their thing, and we're in the same room, and it just makes you smile, and it makes you happy, instead of being locked away in a room somewhere else. Now, other people might want to be away from other people by doing it, but at least you won't be bothering people if you have your headphones on while you're playing. The amplifier back there does have a port for you to put in headphones. But again, if you're going from room to room, from place to place, or you don't have a lot of room for storage, because you do have to store that. It's not very big, but you still got to store it. That can be a constraint for you, having that Vox. And Vox isn't the only one to make some. That's just the name, the manufacturer of that one. There's other ones that are out there that make something similar to it, a headphone amp. But by having those, you can go in there and not bother anybody. Nobody's going to get mad at you. Or you can be in the same room and they're not going to be mad at you. It just helps out. Now later on, I am thinking about getting a different amplifier. If I get any better at this, which I hope I am. I was a little nervous earlier. Normally I play a little bit better than that. Okay, and I do a few other little songs. But later on, I would like to be able to sound like some of the songs that I'm trying to do. Have a little bit of that rock sound to it, like Summer of '69. There's a little bit, of that in there. There's a little gain in there to make it sound rock. Ozzy Osbourne stuff, things like that later on as I get a little bit better and I can start playing a little bit single notes too. So I'm going to be looking at a different amp then, but right now this will do, that Vox will do, and hopefully in the future I'll be able to get that amplifier. But if I don't, I don't. After all, this is for me. I'm playing for me. I'm not going to be out there on the road playing anytime soon, if ever. But I still want to sound good to me. But that little amp. So I would not get another kit. I'd piece it together myself. And if you go into a local store and tell them what you're looking for, they would be more than happy to put together a kit for you or help you in deciding what pieces you actually will need. When you're first starting out, you really don't even need a strap. I take mine off when I'm playing, when I'm sitting down. Don't even need a strap. So that's something that you could take off right away. Get the type of picks that feel good to you. Hopefully some of this has been helpful. Hope you have a great night.